There's no going back now. Liberals are openly speaking out against leader Sussan Ley, and one has to wonder, with or without a net zero policy, can she survive as leader until the end of the year? I think not. I think it is over. Once a position on energy has been decided, the sharks will come. Now, Sussan Ley has bought the party time, and I don't doubt she is working hard. But time is going down the drain for a party which is sinking in the polls, has no positions, can't say what it believes in, and is losing support rapidly. I don't think she's got what it takes. There's no authority, and that is shown in the latest news poll. She now has the worst polling numbers of all time for a coalition leader. The Liberal Party needs a rapid overhaul. It's been 6 months of dithering and infighting, and it seems that sentiment is being felt behind the scenes. Here was Liberal Senator Sarah Henderson on Sky News this morning, offering up a scathing assessment of Sussan Ley.
I can't pretend things are good. We've had a dire news poll result, a primary vote of just 24%. Things are not travelling well. I do have to say, really honestly, I do think Sussan is losing support, but I do believe in miracles. We can turn things around, but things are not good. I don't support things the way they are.
With a new leader or with Sussan Ley?
Well, Pete, I am just going to say at the moment that I cannot support the way things are.
Well, look, this is an astonishingly brutal assessment. Senator Henderson was then pushed further by my colleague Peter Stefanovic.
With Sussan Ley as leader, it sounds like you're not supporting her position as leader.
Well, I can't back in the way things are, Pete, and I've got to be authentic and I've got to be honest about that. And it's very difficult. It's a very difficult time for the Liberal Party.
Wow. Now, look, this very public infighting does not at all help the party. But this is the first time we've heard a Liberal speak out so publicly against Sussan Ley since she was elected as opposition leader. Now, Liberal MPs tried desperately to patch it up today and backed their leader in.
I think Sussan is well established as leader and will be with us through the next election.
Are you planning to roll her?
Absolutely not.
She absolutely does have my support. I'm looking forward to Wednesday. She can navigate us through this. I have no doubt that she can.
Sussan rightly identified at the end, after the last election, that we had to get better at getting policy development done and making sure that we can put policies that will resonate with the Australian people.
But I thought that this was telling. Liberal MP Andrew Hastie, who is no doubt a shoo-in to take on the leadership role, practically said the quiet part out loud.
The thing we have to do is come to a position on net zero, and that's my singular focus. Until we sort that out, it doesn't matter who leads the party. We're not in the fight.
Yeah, so in summary, find an energy position, then find a leader. Now, Sussan Ley tried today to put up a united front, even defending her main critic, Sarah Henderson.
I value every single member of my team, including the good senator that you've just mentioned. What I am saying is that every one of my team is absolutely united behind the focus that we have right now. I'm proud of my team, and I know that every single member of that team is contributing to the serious, credible policy agenda that I spoke about.
United? Well, it certainly doesn't seem that way, especially in the face of what will be next week a net zero showdown. Now, when elected as opposition leader, Sussan Ley declared that everything was on the table. Then we were told the energy policy decision could take up to 12 months to formulate. Now net zero is going to 3 meetings next week. All Liberal MPs will meet in Canberra on Wednesday for a discussion on energy and emissions reduction policy. Shadow Energy Minister Dan Tehan is expected to outline a set of principles for endorsement and open questions for discussion. The Shadow Ministry will then meet on Thursday to formalise a position. At the end of that, 3 senior Liberals and 3 from the Nationals will meet to discuss respective party positions. A final joint coalition meeting for endorsement will take place on Sunday, November 16. I've got to say, it's quite the invite-only party over 3 different days. And really, there is no guarantee that at the end of that, a position will be finalised. And it's all being hindered by the moderates in the party who are warning Sussan Ley she should not take their support for granted, claiming the party would be unelectable if it dumped net zero. Now, look, it's not all Sussan Ley's fault. She has her hands tied by these moderates. But being a leader means having courage and making brave decisions, popular or not. I mean, look at former Prime Minister John Howard as an example, when he introduced a firearms control policy after the Port Arthur massacre in 1996. He defied the gun lobby, his own constituents, and even ignored the mass protests and did it anyway. That's leadership. Sussan Ley should ignore the moderates who are bringing down this party. And don't forget, the coalition took Net Zero 2050 to the last two elections and still lost. They relied on outer metropolitan voters to deliver an election victory this year, but voters turned their backs overwhelmingly. These outer seats are where mums and dads are most doing it tough, where cost of living is top of mind, certainly not net zero. So back then, a change in policy would likely not have made a scrap of difference as to whether voters voted Labor or Liberal, when mum and dad are trying to figure out how to pay their bills. So go out to these seats. Prosecute the case for cheap, reliable energy. Go to the till seats, do exactly the same. And sure, no doubt there are going to be tills and people in those seats who want to remain in Paris. I mean, have a listen to Zali Steggall on Sky News this morning, starting the fear-mongering already.
Look, I'm having deja vu here. And clearly we're just continuing on with the same, a complete inability from the Nationals, the Liberals, if this is a track they go down, to listen to the community, to in fact hear Australia and a very clear message around concern about climate change.
It is up to the party to convince voters in those seats and the Australian public between now and the next election why net zero had to go and how the coalition has a plan to keep the lights on in this country. And most importantly, provide cheap, reliable energy. Voters, you at home, we deserve options. We deserve to have a contest of ideas. We are going broke and backwards under Labor's magic carpet ride fantasy. And the longer the coalition takes, the more we will see the Liberals make their own positions on key issues. I mean, we've seen it with Andrew Hastie, Michaelia Cash, Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price, Garth Hamilton, Sarah Henderson, to name a few, all speaking out against issues like net zero. Sussan Ley only need to look at South Australia, where more than 200 members have suddenly quit the Liberal Party in protest. It was what they see as her weak leadership and a failure to abandon net zero. Time is not on the Liberal side anymore. There's no policy on the table to put Australia first, to make a case as a genuine alternative. And quite frankly, the only way I can put it is that they are boring. They're so boring. Sussan Ley had a go. She has worked hard. But there's no going back now. Sarah Henderson articulated it very clearly today, whether she was right or not, that she cannot support the way things are undergoing under Sussan Ley's leadership. And how many more Liberals will follow suit once an energy policy has been reached?